Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning into the Stuff I Heard podcast. I have two guests today. I got Josh Treadaway and I got my sister, Brandy. Say hi, Brandy and Josh.
Hi, Brandy.
Hi, Brandy and Josh.
Oh, yours was better.
Aw, it's adorable.
His was better.
Yeah. You actively have children shooting you in the
Well,
background.
I was being
It's
held.
the story of my life. Get out my face.
Say certain things.
So listen, this is broadcast everywhere, right? So if I beat my children,
Well, we'll mute that part out. I'll try to.
I'll just cut the video for a second.
Yeah, cut the video. Be like, I lost my feed.
Oh no!
Oh no! I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah. So anyway,
Unbelievable.
Josh Treadaway and I have been talking about. We've been watching the WandaVision on Disney Plus. Have you been watching that?
I don't have Disney Plus.
Oh, so we've been watching.
Let me ask you a question. Do you have a Fire Stick?
No.
Just an option.
Just
get a Fire Stick. Get a Fire Stick. You'll have every Disney Plus.
Yeah, I had one. I left it when I moved out. We have Roku everything here.
Oh, okay. That's doable too.
It's doable, but not as easy.
Yeah.
Seriously, get out.
So anyway, beside the point.
But you guys, please discuss.
Okay, so just real quick, WandaVision. Wanda is, from the Avengers movies. You got the
I know who they are.
Scarlet
Witch, and Vision is the dude with the jewel on his forehead. Okay, so what was this episode? Number 5?
This was 5.
Okay, so 5 just came out, and the way it started out, it was really weird because she is somehow projecting this fake world that looks like old movies. In the beginning, or old television. So in the beginning, it was kind of like Nick and Knight in black and white, and it was sort of reminiscent of Dick Van Dyke or the Lucy Show or something like that, where it was, real weird setup and fake laughter behind the cameras, and she's always in this perfect outfit, and they're putting on these weird appearances for people.
Donna Reed.
And then like Donna Reed.
Exactly like
and then as it goes through, like each episode is moving them into a different generation. So it's like 60s, 70s, 80s.
Fun.
So
this week's episode.
This week was Malcolm in the Middle. And the intro was hilarious because it was done just like Malcolm in the Middle, but they redid the words, they redid everything. I was like, this is really cool. So there's a certain point where they move into color, and then the whole thing is, though, when you're watching the first 3 episodes, you're like, what the hell am I watching? Like, nothing really makes any sense. And you get little glimmers of stuff that doesn't quite fit. And then the 4th episode is like the big reveal of this is what's really happening. Apparently, Wanda invented all of this to try and bring Vision back to life after he died in Ultron. So this is like her make-believe world that she's trying to control everything and everybody in it. And so it's using a lot of power. And we see that in episode 5. So, Treadaway, you want to talk about episode 5?
Well, how can you not? I mean, Vision becomes self-aware.
Yeah, he suddenly realizes, I got to get out of here. And he gets to a point in town where her powers are just having trouble keeping up with everything that's going on. And I got a question for you, because you think about this a little differently than I do.
All right.
Is the added of her brother using superpower, is that her, or is that some outside influence because it would drag her energy?
Right, and that's what I contemplated, actually, and I truly believe he's actually working for Sword.
Okay, that's very possible.
He has all the knowledge of her brother because he has all the knowledge from Sword, and they're using him trying to drain her. Meanwhile, they messed up and went after Vision because I think ultimately Sword wants to try to figure out how to bring back Vision in themselves and use him as a weapon.
Okay, that makes sense. So anyway,
and at the end of the episode, you see she's not being contained, and she has more power than she thought she did.
Right. She gets upset, and basically her bubble of life extends miles in all directions.
Right. It starts taking over Westview now.
Yeah, because she gets a little
actual town that does exist.
She gets a little angry, and
and you see how everything changes to meet all of the requirements of her bubble.
Yeah, I thought that was great. So anyway,
I'm gonna pop over there for just 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay. So that was a fun episode. Again, a lot more information is coming out with her and with Vision, and him being self-aware, especially once he left the bubble and he's interacting with the people outside, and he's like these people need help. He's trying to give signals to them.
Well, also the fact that when he's inside the bubble, he exists, but outside the bubble, he started to fade away.
Yeah, disintegrate. That was really cool.
Alive with her power.
Yeah. That part I thought was really cool. So I watched this crazy thing on Amazon Prime called Bliss. Is there a way I can mute her? Look, I muted her.
There you go.
So, there's this crazy show on Amazon Prime called Bliss, and it's got Owen Wilson and Selma Hayek. And the whole thing looks like, in the beginning, it looks like he's maybe has split personality, or maybe it looks kind of science fiction-y. You're like, I'm not sure if he's in this world or the other world. And he has an interaction with her where she keeps telling him none of this is real. These people aren't real. None of this is, this is all fake. And then all of a sudden, like, it turns into a movie about drug use in a way, because she's having him like smoke these crystal things that then she says this will allow you to see what's real. And all of a sudden he takes these crystals and like he can use telekinesis power to make things happen. And it's like, wait, what's going on? You're not sure if you're watching like some weird science fiction superhero movie or what. And it's not until the very end that you see a big reveal of it's actually a story about drug abuse, because at the very end, like, he has a daughter who's a grown up who's trying to save him all along and just can't seem to save him. And at the very end, like, his daughter, he goes to a meeting after they inadvertently kill somebody because she's out of her mind, and has him convinced that what she thinks is real is reality as well. So they go into this weird situation where he runs into a rehab center and he sits down and he's got a picture of his daughter, grown up daughter. And he's like, it takes him a while, but he's like, this woman says she's my daughter and I want to believe her. Like, it's like
Wow.
one of those holy crap moments. You're like, oh my God. Like, but also like Owen Wilson and Selma Hayek are legit actors. And this is probably one of the first movies where he's not just the typical guy that he normally plays in movies. Like, this is a real role. I mean, this is good. This is really good. It's called Bliss. It's on Amazon Prime. This is good. I watched a few things though.
Is this the one that you made a comment about that, like, oh my God, this is my new favorite show?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So that is A Map of Perfect Little Things.
That's right. It's a Perfect Little Thing. That's right. You did mention that. Okay.
So it's the Groundhog Day effect. That you're gonna, Tom Cruise did a version of that Edge of Tomorrow thing where he's, in a science fiction-y kind of movie. And
never saw that one, but of course, Groundhog Day with Bill Murray is just classic existentialism.
Yeah, but it ties into that idea of
the perfect day.
What if you lived 1,000 lifetimes? What would you do with your time? Like, it's a Buddhist mentality. I guess him and Rick Moranis at the time, or is it Rick Moranis? One of the guys, the guy who produced it, they were in Ghostbusters together. They had this idea of living 1,000 lifetimes, and what would you do with your time if you had a choice of either being a better person or a bad person, or live every existence that you could possibly live? What would you do? And so this Edge of Tomorrow thing with Tom Cruise, it's a really cool science fiction movie where he's thrust into a battle situation with these alien things, and he gets killed over and over again, and then he gets to restart every time in the beginning, and he can keep trying to make it better, and he lasts a little bit longer each time trying new things. But it's a very neat science fiction movie. But this, A Map of Perfect Little Things, falls on a different parameter where at midnight it starts over. And every time it starts over, it's this kid who's in high school, summer school, looks like. He wakes up at like 6:30 in the morning with his mom honking the horn and his alarm clock going off. His mom's leaving to go to work. And he wakes up, and instead of like Groundhog Day, where it takes him a long time to figure out patterns of things to take advantage of it, this kid's, when the movie starts off, he's immediately doing things that make people's lives better.
So you're in the middle of him.
Yeah. That's how it starts.
It's not like the first day with like Bill Murray and Groundhog Day. It's actually he's self-aware.
He's self-aware. He's probably been doing it for thousands of days at a time, because he knows patterns. He knows what time to be at certain places to have this happen or have that happen and help people or not help people. Or
Okay, so they left themselves open for an origin story.
Yeah, that's his opening. So he opens at that, and in the process of him living out his predictable life of the same day over and over again, a random person walks through and does something to change it. And he talks to her and realizes she's going through the same thing, and he's not sure why. Oh, look, she's back. Should I unmute her now?
Same shirt on.
Let me unmute her. Oh, she's got to unmute herself.
Oh.
I'm coming.
Oh, there you are. I muted you when you walked away.
Kim Cox forever, baby.
So anyway, I was telling Josh Treadaway about this movie that's on Amazon Prime called A Map of Perfect Little Things. It's like Groundhog Day, except the guy's self-aware in the beginning, and then he happens to run into a lady who's going through the same thing.
A Map of Perfect Little Things.
It's really, really, really good. It's my new favorite movie.
Your new favorite movie? Okay.
Yeah. Because you don't necessarily, like, a lot of times when you have one of those kinds of movies, if they run into somebody else who's going through the same things, they want to get out of it. In this case, the woman that's in this doesn't want to leave the day, and you find out why later, and it's actually it's awesome. It's a good movie. Right? It's a very touching movie. Yes.
Oh boy, tears.
Yes.
Had by all.
Unexpected. There's a lot of laughs. There's some tears.
I don't know. I feel like I'm expecting it now.
It's good. It's really good. So anyway, that was awesome. That was probably the coolest thing that I saw this past week. I also watched something called The Peanut Butter Falcon. It's on
Josh.
It's on Amazon Prime. It's called The Peanut Butter Falcon. It's got Shia LaBeouf and
I'm out.
And Dakota Johnson. He's like he's just kind of an idiot who's working as a fisherman, and he's getting in trouble a lot because you have a flashback story of his brother passing away, and since then he's made a lot of bad decisions, and so people are after him. He's sabotaging their lives in the process, and they're after him to get revenge. And he bumps into this guy that's got special needs, and the kids run away from a place because he wants to be a pro wrestler. And so they form a bond, and they sort of go on this adventure. Meanwhile, Dakota Johnson is supposed to be taking care of him at this facility, and so she's after trying to find him. And when she finds him, she realizes that he's better off with him than he is in the system. So it's a very interesting story. He's been watching these videos about some pro wrestler down in North Carolina, and he wants to go meet him because he's his hero. And he's like, he'll teach me how to wrestle, and I'll be a professional wrestler. And it doesn't work out that way. But Jake the Snake Roberts is in it. the old wrestler,
Remember Jake the Snake?
Yeah, it's really cool. I enjoyed the movie. So anyway, this stupid movies. I try to think of, I try to watch some content to talk about that I liked and stuff I didn't like. And this week I liked everything I watched. So
nothing bad this week?
No, nothing bad.
Okay. Well, I haven't been watching much, obviously, because I've been very busy. I did watch WandaVision. One show that me and Chrissy do watch, and again, every single week it does not surprise me. I tear up. Is called This Is Us. Have you watched this?
I've heard about it.
I watched a couple of episodes, but I never really got into it. It's very, very deep, though.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it looks like every episode is a tearjerker.
Well, you get laughs, you get tears, you get the feelies. I mean, it's really, really well written, and I'm really impressed by the acting. I mean, it really is a great job. Mandy Moore is amazing.
Oh yeah,
I did not think she was as an amazing actress as she is, but she's done a fantastic job in this role. And then the people who play her kids, just phenomenal.
Yeah, she's done some adult roles where she's come across as a really great actress. She took it she took it seriously. She got into the limelight for doing music, and then steamrolled that into playing those princess movies, and then that just came into more and more acting jobs, I guess.
I recommend highly This Is Us. If you watch a few episodes and you get into it, you can't get out of it.
Okay.
I feel like I haven't watched any real. I don't know. Mark and I watched on HBO Max this show called Camping. Either one of you have HBO Max?
Yeah, I haven't heard of Camping though.
Okay, so it's got Jennifer Garner from
Okay.
Alias.
Yeah.
And what is that girl's name? Juliette Lewis.
Okay.
Listen, and Jennifer Garner in this show, she's awful. Like she's terrible. But it's about this camping trip for her husband's birthday, and she's like a super control freak. And Juliette Lewis is like this real free spirited type who comes with one of their friends.
Well, that was
Very
a real stretch
entertaining.
for her.
Huh?
That was a real stretch for her to do that kind of role, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So free spirit hippie or whatever. Anyway, we really enjoyed it. But like I said, like it was not. I've never seen Jennifer Garner play anything like this before in movies or on television. Just this type of. I mean, she was a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like for real, for real. Anyway, we really enjoyed it. You might want to check that one out.
Okay.
I don't want to give too much away.
I was telling Treadaway on HBO Max, I watched Flight Attendant.
So I watched the first episode, and I actually really like Kaylee Cuoco. But it is a little on the dark side. So
it's very dark.
An opportunity. Yeah. Well, so we watched the first one, and Mark's like, I mean, I would like to watch it. I just don't want to binge it. So we haven't really gotten back to it yet.
She, when you watch Big Bang, you're like, wait, she becomes a real actress? This is her being a real actress. This is
and she's very, very good.
Yeah.
How far into it are you?
I watched all of it.
Do we figure out what happened then?
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to watch it.
Yeah, you won't see it.
I also really like Rosie Perez. So
there's and so if you have a movie project, you don't hire A and B list actors to just be background characters.
Right.
There's more story that you're going to find out with Rosie Perez's thing.
I'm certain because she's Rosie Perez.
Yeah. All of the actors that you're like, wait, they look familiar. They're there for a reason.
Right. Right.
Josh Treadaway and I talk.
Patty girl.
Yeah, Treadaway and I talk about that with anything having to do with like these Star Wars things on Disney Plus. Anytime they have a character where you're like, I know that guy. You're like, oh yeah, he's gonna be on more than one episode.
So, have you guys watched Big Sky?
No, I've heard about it. Friend of mine told me I need to watch it.
Oh my god! So you have to watch Big Sky. So it premiered like towards the end of last year, and it was like 5 episodes. And they were 5 of the most intense episodes of television I've ever seen.
What's it on?
Like regular TV, I think.
Oh.
So cable. I'll look it up real quick. And it's got some big names in it, but
Big Sky is Montana, right?
Yeah. It is it's got Ryan Phillippe in it. What's that girl's name? Let's see. Hold on, I'll tell you some of the cast members.
Yeah, my buddy
Catherine Winnick, Ryan Phillippe, John Carroll Lynch. And once you see the show, Valerie Mahaffey, once you see the show, you'll recognize more of who I'm talking about. But it is a little more on the dark side, but it is very, very. The end of the first episode, like last 5 seconds, I was like,
"What's it about, roughly?"
So Big Sky, Montana, this guy and another woman own a detective agency. His wife is an ex-cop. Anyway, some girls are kidnapped, and turns out that it's the private detective and his wife, their son's girlfriend and her sister go missing. So they're abducted by this guy who's been abducting lot lizards. And so kind of about how they're trying to figure out who it is, and it still involves law enforcement. It's pretty crazy. It was very, very, very good.
Okay.
And then, so there are a few more episodes now. It started back up again in January. We have really, really enjoyed that show.
There's been a lot of previews for things coming up too. What was it? There's an Avengers movie, The Falcon and Winter Soldier. It looks like they're working together, or there's a hint of, Captain America's gone and he's passed on the shield to one of them, but it's not sure who. And so they're sort of at odds with each other. And then I guess it's like one of those buddy cop movies where they eventually at the end, they have to come together to defeat the bad guy.
Didn't Captain America decide not to return after he went back in time to fix everything? And he decided to grow old with
with the Carter, Agent Carter.
The girl, right.
Yeah. Gail. Yeah. So at some point, at some point, like one of them do become, or I think both of them do become Captain America in their own right. But it looks like a movie that they're coming out with. I don't know if it's going to go straight to Disney Plus like the other stuff, or if it's going to be in theaters. I don't even know if they're going to allow people to go back to theaters, or if that's happening.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure theaters are about done.
Well, I'd like to touch on that for a second.
Okay.
So there's like the movie theaters here are still open. You can still go to the movies here.
Really?
Yep. But I will say that I really, really, really like the fact that I can stream a movie in my house the same day it's released in the theaters, and everybody's like, but it's $20. What cost me $50 to go to the theater?
Right. So we were talking about that, when Mulan came out on Disney Plus, it was like, they had this Disney premiere for $20 you could rent it. And I was like, $20? But we were discussing about the fact of if you had a family, it was going to cost you a lot more to rent it.
Even if you go by yourself, it's almost $20. Plus I get to watch it for 48 hours. So if I want to watch it twice.
And then after a month, they release it for free viewing anyway. It's like, if you're paying for the service, we'll just open it up to you guys after a month. Right. It's like, okay, cool.
So we're kind of excited. I think it's next week. The Tom and Jerry movie comes out.
Oh, yeah?
I'm very excited about Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you didn't hear about Tom and Jerry coming out?
No.
Listen, it's going to be on HBO Max. And they're like, so on HBO Max, when it releases on we'll still have to pay for it, but I'm going to rent it, and I'll give you my login information if you want to watch some Tom and Jerry movie.
No, I mean, I got ways.
Well, excuse me for living.
Treadway hooked me up.
The Fire Stick.
If you had a Fire Stick, he could hook you up too.
I had a Fire Stick. I hated it.
Do me a favor. Just purchase yourself a 4K Fire Stick, and I promise you.
I had one, and I hated it.
You won't hate it if I get a hold of it.
Okay, well.
He's a wizard.
A wizard.
He's like Harry Potter, only balder.
I mean, you don't know. Harry Potter could have been bald by the time he was Treadaway's age.
I had long hair.
That's fair.
I got a scar right here too.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like there's a lot going on and nothing going on at the same time. With coronavirus the way it is, and with life sort of happening, and you look at it and go, I want to participate, but you're sort of not allowed to. It's this weird existence right now. It is cold, but spring is on the corner.
Oh, gross.
So I went to the store today, and they started putting out things for spring. They started putting out tulips, and they started putting out, don't forget to get this to plant your garden. And I'm like, crap, that's coming up.
Bulbs and stuff, tulips and daffodils have to be planted this time of year in order for them to bloom in the spring.
Oh yeah, I know. But it's like that reminder of, hey, by the way, it's right around the corner.
It will end.
Yeah.
I don't know, that stupid rodent saw his shadow, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, me personally, I know I've got yard work to do, and it's not going to do itself. So if it stops raining at any time, I need to go out there and get it done. But it won't stop raining.
Never.
I just saw on TV that Texas has this full state winter advisory thing because they're getting like, the center of Dallas is like 9 degrees today as a high.
Yeah, Chrissy's stepdad just posted 19 degrees. Can anyone beat it? They're in East Texas. They're not even in the south side of Texas.
So like, I guess the whole state got snow and ice. I mean, That's incredible.
Well, I will tell you this. I mean, Saturday.
We can't get snow here.
Well, Saturday night, about 2:00 in the morning, we had flurries. I mean, it wasn't.
Yeah, we had them here too.
Yeah.
Friday night we had a few, but it wouldn't stick because it's been raining for 2 years.
I actually was in your neck of the woods straight away. We went to the beach this weekend. We got invited. A friend of ours has those Wyndham, what is it? The timeshare points.
Yeah, timeshare points.
They called us up and was like, "Hey, come meet us." We're like, okay. So we met them and went axe throwing.
Up in North Myrtle, yeah.
Yeah, never done that before. It was really neat. I didn't like when you walk in, you're seeing people do it, and you're like, "Can I do this?" Well, there's always that question of, hey, "This looks really complicated," but it's not.
It's a trend that's going on in a lot of places. I'm like, first time I saw it was down in Charleston, but I heard they're actually trying to open one in Florence.
There's 2.
What is it?
Axe throwing.
Axe throwing. You go.
There's one here. There's one in Florence. It's on Palmetto Street. Oh, there's 2.
Seminars doing it also.
Oh, well, I was going to say right up at that old bridal place on Palmetto Street is now Palmetto Axe Throwing.
Yeah,
I think it's fantastic. Offer people alcohol and let them throw axes.
Well, we didn't see any alcohol in this place, but They bring you out an axe. They show you the movements. You get used to that, and as you're getting used to it, they bring you out other things to throw. Some of the axes are made different. Some have points on both sides. Some of them have it on all the sides. After a while, they bring out these throwing stars. Of course, I remember being a kid and buying throwing stars from the flea market, and they never worked. Of course, I was maybe 10 or 12 at the time and didn't have the arm strength to get it to stick.
Well, they weren't sharp enough.
They probably weren't.
Enough.
Yeah, but these are really awesome, And then they started bringing out balloons and staple them to the thing so you could pop the balloons in targets, and then they bring out these daggers that are like this long, and I'm like, this will either work or it won't. You just keep throwing them, and after a while you start learning a pattern. For me, like a lot of people were holding them by the handle and throwing them and getting them to stick. I noticed that every time I was throwing them, it was hitting the bottom. So I was like, well, let me hold it by the blade. So I held it by the blade and threw it, and they were sticking every time. And I was like, there we go. Now we're talking about it. Yeah. So
how long did you get? Like, how much time did you have?
So it was like $25 a person, and they basically give you, an hour-ish, but we went towards the end of the night. So we didn't get in there till after like 9:30, and we were there till almost 11. They didn't care. They were just like, you guys having fun? Cool. They had loud music playing.
There's a new place in North Myrtle Beach that I want to check out. But I have to have the right music on. There's a place where you pay like a certain amount depending upon whatever you want to do, but it's called a break room.
Like an anger room.
Yeah.
I saw that.
They give you whatever, electronics or glass or whatever room you choose, and you get like 2-3 minutes just to break whatever you want, however you want.
I saw that. That's really cool.
I think that's an interesting idea.
It's funny that you say that. Mark and I talked about maybe one day wanting to open one of those, but we've been watching Jack and Ozzy's World Detour, like Ozzy Osbourne and his son Jack.
Okay.
It's like a reality show. It's a road trip, but I mean, Ozzy's a trip anyway. He's just fun to watch. But they actually went to one of those the other day on the show. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, Chrissy was telling me about that show and said it's actually pretty good.
It is. I find it wildly entertaining. I watched it for probably 4 hours yesterday. So, but when they went to that place, like the people are setting up and they're like, listen, all this stuff is donated to us. They said, and when it's done, we recycle it. She said, but everything has to be broken down. Like, I need for you to go in there and make it unrecognizable. I need you to break everything into the tiniest pieces.
Sounds like a job for me.
Cut them loose.
That's what I'm saying, man.
And just cut them loose in there with bats and axes and shovels and whatever. And we're like, here you go, have a good time. Crowbars. Looks like a lot of fun.
Gotta wear safety goggles.
Listen, they gave them like jumpsuits.
I know what happens if you don't. It's not good. I can tell you that.
Well, at least we can laugh about it now.
Yeah. Yeah,
almost.
Oh yeah, almost.
March 6th.
March 4th. They're going to map. 4th. I go March 4th for them to map the eye, and then set up a time to do the surgery to put a lens in. I was just talking to them recently on the phone because I was trying to get an idea of like when am I going to get back to normal, and they said that it'll probably be a couple of weeks after they map the eye because they have to order it from someplace in California, and they said with COVID, a lot of their orders are backlogged. So they said, plus they have to get the whatever room to do it in set up and scheduled, and depending on their schedule, the lady said, I'll give you a rough estimate. She goes, if we do it here, I could probably get you in on the 17th. If we end up going to Parkway, it may be a different date, but that's kind of the rough estimate for the surgery. And she says, but then I need like 3 weeks for it to heal before they talk about putting in a contact lens. And I'm like, 3 more weeks? We're talking April? I'm like, God, come on.
You're going to watch everything that's out.
Well, but like, I'm worried that disability is going to be like, nah, dude, we're done with you. I'm for my job.
That's going to happen. I mean, you're constantly going to the doctor. They're giving you like medical explanations and reasons why you can't, and your job is saying, listen, we want for you to come back.
Yeah.
But until this issue is resolved, we can't let you.
I mean, if I had just started this place, I think they would look at me differently.
Oh, you wouldn't be there anymore.
But the fact that I've been there 13 years and they know what kind of job I do, it's like, he'll be back. I mean, and that's my plan. It's not, I don't want to keep doing this.
You're an upper level employee for a reason. They're not wanting to get rid of you.
Right.
Well, I mean, and as a trainer, I mean, my whole thing is I'm helping other people get better on a regular
Right.
basis.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So
Like
when I'm there,
you're not just a entry level employee. I mean, you're someone
yeah,
vital to the company. So therefore,
I'm
they're
not
not.
some schmo off the street.
You gotta be handy with the kill. Still, if you don't earn the key.
Yeah. So hopefully that'll all be fine, and I can go back to work like normal and all that fun stuff. So fingers crossed.
Can I quickly say something?
Yeah.
No.
It's crazy the amount of people who love to enjoy cooking their own food for Valentine's Day.
Really?
We were swamped.
I did it. I cooked.
No,
He's
no.
saying at the
I
melting
work at.
pot.
I'm now a manager at the Melting Pot here in Myrtle Beach.
Right.
And it amazes me the number of people who choose to come there for their Valentine's. I mean, I get it's an experience, but to cook your own food for $75 to come in at Valentine's Day is just absurd to me.
Or you go, wow, what a great idea. You guys should come out more often.
Well, yes. I mean, the company line, but just saying. I mean, I was in the kitchen. I didn't have to deal with the people. So, but it was
most of the time I do cook for my wife here at the house on Valentine's Day. It just worked out where we got invited to go to the beach, so we ate out somewhere. But
the whole family was here yesterday.
Cooking at home for your Valentine, that's amazing. I don't have. I'm just saying
people
that would go to
roasted chicken. I roasted a whole chicken, awesome, yellow rice, steamed broccoli, bread.
Yeah,
it was delicious. But I like to cook. I would rather cook than go out to eat. So
yeah, Dolores asked me last night. She said, "What's your favorite restaurant?" And I mean, I said King Jefe because I mean I love the tacos there, and I love the atmosphere, and I like the fact that I know Kyle Hardy really well, and Danny McWilliams works up there as a bartender. He's a buddy of mine, but I mean, I don't really have a favorite other than that.
I mean, Mexican food.
I mean, Redbone's always consistent. Their food's always good, but I mean,
thumbs up from Myrtle Beach on that one.
I wouldn't call it my favorite.
If I had a choice, restaurant is my kitchen.
Yeah, if I had a choice, I'm using my grill.
Or your air fryer. I see.
Or the new air fryer.
One of those. So I roasted my chicken last night in my air fryer. Josh, remember I was telling you I was going to rotisserie it?
Yeah.
So I spent 20 minutes trying to get that damn bird on that rotisserie thing. You stick it through the cavity and you're trying to stab it on either end with these little things. And I didn't have trussing twine, right? So I couldn't tie the legs up. So I'm trying to hold the little stabby things on this end and position this one where it's holding the legs in. I finally get it all tucked in and happy and tightened down, and I'm gonna go slide it in, and the chicken's too damn big. So pissed off. So I ended up just putting it in a pan or whatever. But I mean, my little oven's small,
Yeah.
And I've never done this before, so it was trial and error. So I put it in bottom side down first, back side up.
Mm-hmm.
And the skin got a little dark. I turned it over and turned down the temp. It actually turned out it was a beautifully done chicken though. Very tender, juicy. Really nice.
Well, good.
Mm-hmm. And for seasonings for chicken, I don't know. You guys don't have a Lidl. You don't have a Lidl there.
No, I don't have a Lidl. I have Aldi.
Dude, they have this stuff called pub style chicken. I'll send you some.
All right.
Yeah.
I went when I came last time I came to see Josh in Florence. I stopped by Lidl because I wanted to because it's fantastic. Every time first time I went to one was in Lexington when I went to go visit my aunt. And but I mean I spend almost all my grocery time if I have time for it is in Aldi. So I mean that one we do have.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll go. So usually when I buy that stuff, I buy it 2 jars. I mean, you can sprinkle it on vegetables. You can use it on pork. It's just a really good seasoning mix. It's mild, you know what I mean? But very, very flavorful. I'll send you some. It's so good. I usually keep a couple bottles here, so.
It sounds awesome. Yeah, I did a chicken on the grill the other day on the pellet, and I overcooked it a little. But once I turned the temperature down and let it smoke a little bit longer, it turned out really well as well. So
it's always trial and error with
good things.
Yeah.
So I got a new favorite seasoning. from Food Lion. It's the sweet Thai chili sauce.
Yummy.
It is so delicious, and it's only like $1.50 for a bottle, and half a bottle does plenty of wings. So it caramelizes really well. It tastes great, and it's really cheap. I mean, I like the price. You can't beat it, man. The
Price
hard part
point
is
is
actually
important.
finding it in the store.
Yeah, that's how I am with. I have one from Kroger. They had a really good spicy buffalo garlic sauce,
Ooh,
but I can't find the spicy garlic one. I can find the spicy one. And I can find the regular garlic buffalo, but I can't find the hot
Well, you
buffalo.
just mix them together.
I did. I bought two of them, but I'm saying the one it's not quite the same as it was when they had it in one bottle. Now I did find a nice mango habanero one that it's working out really well.
So I don't know if Greg's mentioned it, but he's coming here next weekend. This weekend.
Did not hear that at all.
Everybody's going to be in town this weekend.
He's supposed to come Friday and I think head back Sunday. His mom's birthday is on the 22nd, so he's coming to basically to visit her. And he's like, plus I wanted to visit you, and I was like, okay, yeah, sure. So I don't know if we haven't talked since last week. I'm sure we'll talk one day this week to talk about plans. But he was asking me if you were working, and I was like, yeah, Tredo's working. He's only off on Mondays.
So actually, this week I get Wednesday off as well because it's after our Super Bowl's over. So
yeah,
we're going to be a little slower this next couple of weeks.
Okay.
So while we still have a third manager who turned in his notice a week before Valentine's Day, so he's leaving at the end of the month. Once he leaves, until we find another manager, it'll be 6 days again. And if we open back up on Mondays, it'll be 7 days.
Okay.
So, but it'll work itself out eventually. We'll get another third manager and we'll go back to the owner wants us to have 2 days off, but right now we just don't have the time or the people.
Well, at some point we'll get to a point where you can have time with us.
Yes.
Until then, we'll send you pictures because we love you.
So, I mean, Josh, not for nothing, but I don't work in next week.
When do you go back? When do you start your new job?
A week from today.
Okay.
I'm off all this week.
Where are you starting at?
I am going to be an appraisal coordinator for a mortgage company.
Oh, nice.
From right here in my house.
Mm-hmm. You have to drive out occasionally to look at things, but no, all inside. Okay, I got a friend's sister who does that, and she drives occasionally, but most of her works out of her house.
I'm not doing the appraisals. I'm coordinating the appraisals.
Oh, okay.
So.
Well, there you go then.
Yeah, right here from
your mortgage dispatch.
Pretty much. I'm very excited. As a matter of fact, that's why I had to disappear for a minute. I was getting emails trying to get everything finalized so I can sign my offer letter so I can start on Monday.
Cool. Speaking of starting, how did Dolores? This is first day go.
So last week was her first week. The first 3 days was just orientation and safety briefings, and then she worked Thursday and Friday in the new office. Starting to learn the job, but it's a lot of information. There's a lot of stuff to learn. And so she was pretty overwhelmed. I was like, don't worry. It's just like, this is all new and you'll learn it and it'll be fine. Right. But right now she's a little overwhelmed.
They're not expecting for her to be 100% proficient in all of the information that they're giving her right off the bat.
No, but she expects that of herself.
I know she does.
That's how she is wired. I mean,
well, if it's any consolation to her, and I'll be happy to tell her. So when I started the melting pot, okay, they don't normally hire outside. They normally bring in because there's so much stuff that you've got to learn and know that's different than any other kind of like restaurant on the manager's backside. So when I came in, I felt like my learning curve was a little harder than everybody else's. So I felt like I was learning slower than most, but that's usually because most of them have been a server or bartender or whatever for years there, and so they had that knowledge already.
Mm-hmm. So
when I finally spoke to my GM and he asked me how things were going, I explained to him that. He's like, "Well, we kind of expected that. We you're actually ahead of the curve where we thought you would be." Okay. So I was like, "Okay, great." I felt like I was behind.
Yeah, and I know this is just a process, but she has this expectation of herself of, I got to get it right away. And right now
I
she's
feel
like,
that though. Like I feel some anxiety and trepidation about next
Yeah.
week because this is an industry I've never worked. Like I have no idea. I have no experience. I've never done anything like this. And training is 2 weeks.
yeah,
And then
I
they're just
mean,
like, here.
yeah, yeah,
Well, most of these companies now, when they, especially with like with Dolores as well, they're doing their vetting on you. I mean, they've done the research. They've looked
Yeah.
at your resumes. They say, okay,
Well,
this
I mean, they
person
hired me
this
for a
person has the
reason.
ability to do what we want them to do.
Right. I mean, I interviewed. Apparently, they saw something in me that they thought was worth developing. But I mean, it's still.
I mean, same
Yeah.
thing with. I mean, same thing kind of with me. I mean, like they offer me a kitchen. I'm technically a kitchen manager. I've been in the front of the house all my life since I was before high school. I mean, my last kitchen job was at Red Lobster.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was the last time I worked in the kitchen. I mean, I've worked in bars and I've been, the kitchen guy and the bartender at the same time. But as far as like an actual kitchen, I haven't worked in one since high school.
Right.
But they saw something in me. They thought that, because of my knowledge of, inventory and things like that, that they could use that knowledge and work it. So, and it turned out it worked out okay for everybody.
Right. And see, with me, it's from a customer service standpoint. You know what I mean? Conflict resolution, team building.
That's it. So
thinking outside the box.
Right. And that's exactly what they probably saw with Dolores. So, I mean, they know that they may have a little bit longer learning curve than somebody who's been with the business already, but they have a higher ceiling than the other people.
Yeah, well, they already told her that because they went around to different departments to handle some stuff, and she walked into they call it scheduling. It's sort of like their shipping department. But she walked with this lady into their scheduling area, and they were talking about a problem with a shipment, and they were in there, and she was describing the problem and how they were going to fix it and stuff, and she had some input on how to fix it, and they were like, "This isn't like you follow this." She goes, "Oh yeah, I could teach you this." She's like, "This stuff I know like the back of my hand." And when they got out of there, she goes, "Well, like we hired you with the idea of you'd eventually move into this area, but you need to learn this other stuff first so that it makes sense when you're on this side." And she was like, oh, "Okay."
Yeah, and that's exactly what that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Same thing. They saw something in her that they saw a higher ceiling than the people that were interviewing for that position already, even though they might have had more short-term knowledge of what's going on.
And it was a unique opportunity because everybody knows what a good company Nucor is. She went in telling them, she said, I used to be the kind of person that wanted to chase after money or a status or anything. She goes, I don't care for that anymore. I want to get with a company that's good and good to their people and treats people well and has a history of that. And she's like, I've got 10 to 15 more years of work in me, and I'd like to work for a company that I want to work for, that I'm proud to work for. And I think Nucor is that kind of company. Y'all have that kind of reputation. And she's like, I don't care about the money. Money always figures its way out. And they were like, well, we were really concerned because, this is significantly less than you made before. And she goes, I don't care. It's not important. She's like, I just want a chance.
There's much reset stability and love for your job.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I mean, we got lucky and we raised kids and they are not financially needing us to help them. So, as long as you control what you spend, you're okay. And we don't have a lot of spending other than lightsabers.
Well, hey, that's not spending. That's necessities.
When I saw that one at Walmart today, I was like, I really want to buy it.
Why didn't you buy it?
Because I have one. My wife would be like, why do you have 2 darksabers?
For when my friends come over, Mom.
When my friends come over so we can play.
But it's like the Highlander. There can only be just one.
Right.
There can be only one. Oh my God. You guys are turning me into nerds.
Yes.
Well, that's what this podcast is. It's the Nerdcast.
I'm not a nerd. I'm not a nerd.
Yes, you are.
He's a nerd.
You're a nerd by association.
To pipe in on the podcast, so can he please come say hello?
Hi.
You got to actually here. Come here.
We can see you.
All right, let me explain one more thing to you real quick, Brandy.
Okay.
You also have another one that's a little bit younger but a lot bigger than you, and he's a nerd. So you are a nerd by association because you're in the middle.
Listen, I am not a nerd.
I think the title is Nerdy by Nature.
Nerdy by nature.
No, see, I can get down that because it's nerdy by nature. All right, I'll allow it.
I was watching The Big Bang last night, one of the reruns, and and they were having a conversation about May the 4th be with you. And Penny kept making references. She goes, from the one movie, it's like this. She goes, why do I know this? She kept coming up with things just to add to it to make it funnier. And she kept going, I got to get out of here. I know too much about this. So anyway, just before I hopped on here with you guys, I turned on my stupid internet and it was on Facebook for something. And I was like, what is this? It was an advertisement for a movie coming up called Boss Level. Have you seen the previews for this?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so we were talking about a map of perfect little things being like Groundhog Day.
Right.
Boss Level is like an assassin movie around the idea of Groundhog Day of a video game. So let's just say...
Why are there all these Groundhog Day type movies?
Because it's a neat idea.
It's a
it's a cool idea. Actually, listen, I actually watched Groundhog Day like the other day. Like made everybody just be quiet. So I
watched it 4 or 5 times. So the premise for this one, Mel Gibson is the bad guy. He's the boss level. And this guy keeps waking up and reliving the same day. And every day that he relives this day, he gets assassinated by assassins. So he has to figure out how to get out of the day. So he has to learn how to defeat each one of the assassins as he goes along through the day, and stuff keeps happening.
That sounds like a pretty freaking cool movie.
It's like a comedy. It's like a dark comedy.
God.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's gonna be kind of like a Scott Pilgrim Saves the World kind of concept.
I love that movie.
He keeps reliving the same thing, and they keep finding new and creative ways to kill him. And he's like, and every day I start over.
I feel like maybe they shouldn't give people who have nothing better to do ideas like that.
It's really fun looking. Like the preview. Look up Boss Level. You're gonna be like, okay, I can watch this. This looks like a lot of fun. Yeah.
There's a show coming out that I'm excited about. I mean, again, it's probably going to be kind of questionable for most people, but apparently Ron from Parks and Rec, he is going to be the voice of a show. It's called The Great North. It's made by the same guys that make Bob's Burgers.
I saw a preview for that. Yeah.
The Great North?
I've seen a preview
Great
for
North.
that.
Okay.
It's supposed to. I'm thinking it's going to be really good. I mean, it's Ron's character. I mean, it's the same kind of personality as Ron. You know, that big burly butch man. You know, eat meat, drink scotch, but in cartoon
stuff out of wood.
but in a cartoon version.
He was kind of a cartoon on Parks and Rec. You know, he's like, I'm going to make a canoe today. First, we chop down a tree. It's like, what?
I saw a commercial for that last night. Was it good? I missed it yesterday. I saw a commercial for it last night. Yeah. I saw the commercial for it, but I missed it. Was it good?
I didn't get a chance to watch it yet. I'm looking forward to watching it.
All right, cool. Was it last night that it came on, right?
I believe so.
Okay, yeah. I'll on demand it later. I was curious, though. All right, sorry.
No worries. That's what this is for. Growing community and spreading the knowledge. Right, Josh?
It's love, man.
It's all love.
Oh, the love.
So I got a quick question.
Yeah.
Which Chinese restaurant did you steal the lucky cat from?
I was waiting to see if anybody noticed. We did
I see it.
Do you see him? The China cat?
Yeah.
It's Mark's China cat. His niece gave it to him.
Okay.
My niece gave it to me. It's China cat, sunflower. Okay. China cat.
I'm going to let him tell you about China cat. I'll be right back.
Anyway, it's Grateful Dead song. China cat, sunflower. You ever heard? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, my nieces know I'm a big Deadhead. When I got to meet them for the first time a couple years ago, they were babies, and they had it when I got there, and they seen it. I loved it, and they gave it to me, and
it's awesome. I usually only see it.
It just takes a couple of 1 egg batteries, and it steady keeps waving.
Yeah, just you don't see him. Just said normally at Chinese restaurants, the only time I've ever seen one. In P.F. Chang's, I had him one.
Yeah, I love it. It's awesome.
That's really cool.
Looks like your nephew wants to talk, Josh.
Hey, you can go say hi if you want.
What's up, man?
Gabe, talk to you.
You don't want to?
Talk to Uncle Josh.
You having fun playing Animal Crossing?
Oh Lord, you sucked in another one.
Oh, but they're both playing.
Oh my God, he totally did.
Yeah, they're both playing.
Okay.
I was trying to show Gabe how to do the rocks last night, and he was like, he kept making a whole
bells.
Yeah, diving for bells. We were in the middle of diving, and he's like, I gotta go. I'm like, oh crap, I gotta leave the island. I had to get to the airport fast.
Okay.
What time?
Well, I need to wrap this up
Yeah,
because
what time it is. Yeah, it's probably
Yeah,
about
it's
that
time
time.
for lunch. I'm getting hungry.
I got to get to brewing some dinner. We're making some kind
Are
of
you making beer?
no, I'm making some kind of stew, but I got to get it started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make it
We're having
regular.
leftover chicken.
Hey, you said the chicken was good, so
Oh
leftover
my
makes it even
God,
better.
so good. Was it good?
Approval.
Approval.
Okay.
Yeah, kid approval. Listen, big deal.
Kid
'Cause I don't
approval
need
is big.
anything.
I mean, if it's not mac and cheese or hot dogs, I didn't really want it.
See, okay, I don't understand. Yeah, it's a struggle. Bubba, you
Yeah.
don't have to.
So,
Right now, my grandson only eats French fries. So.
oh, he's still on the fries.
Hey, Gabe.
Hi, brother.
Hey, Gabe.
So,
He doesn't like
Brandy,
that.
it was great seeing you, and
You
good luck
too.
on your job, okay? And I'll wait.
You guys do this on Mondays. This will be the only one I can do then.
Yeah. Well, that's the Treadway's only day off.
That's just my only day off right now, so that's I mean.
Glad you're okay, Josh. Good to see you. Glad you're okay, buddy.
But get you a fire stick. I'll help you out. And
I mean, listen. The last one I had, I jailbroke by myself, but
well, the
Not
jailbreak
like this.
Not like this. Trust me.
yeah, it felt like I was constantly having to go in there and redo things, and
Not like
because
this.
Listen, you were using Cody. Cody is dead now. I can make it so much better. Like I tell you, look, Josh. Look at the face. Look at the face Josh is making. Brandy, look at the face Josh is making.
Wait, can I screenshot that? Oh,
Bippity boppity boo. He'll do that.
Yeah, I do a little magic thing.
the little magic thing. Okay, I'll get one.
Are you a Prime member?
Yes.
Then you can find a Prime Day coming up, and it'll be like $30 for a brand new, updated Fire Stick.
Okay.
I did that.
And literally, it'll take me 20 minutes over the phone, and you'll have access to anything you want.
Awesome. We'll get one of those too then. Okay. Why not? We have all the other things.
It's weird. He's got this like 1,000 letter thing like memorized in his brain. He's like, okay, B X F N. I'm like, how do you know all this? And he's like,
well, now again, I had to give credit. Just when I did that day for you on the phone, I had already done it like 6 times because I had to update all my Fire Sticks. So by the time I got through it, repetition, my brain just said, okay, I know all these things.
he memorized it. I was like, that's impressive. That's a lot to remember.
All right, well, I got to go let the kids or the dogs.
Yep. I'm gonna wrap this up.
I have to go feed the kids.
Thank you, everybody, for being a part of the podcast. I know this is a little
Thanks for
weird for the
having me.
listeners. They're like, what's going on?
Oh, we can see you again.
Watch the video on YouTube. Check out Stuff I Heard wherever you find it. And for everybody out there, please remember to rate, review, subscribe, share with your friends. And as always, cue the cow.
Give me more likes. Give